Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date is July 23rd of 2021. It's almost 2 a.m. in the morning. I just had an update. I'm running Windows 11 and I'm running the development. Well, you have to do that in order to get, yeah. I'm running the development update and I'm running Windows 11. And I think with this last bill, which by the way they did something an hour ago or so, and then I got this thing that popped up about Microsoft Teams, or is it Windows Teams? I don't know, and I really don't think I care. Although it says down here at the bottom is get Teams for work or school, and I'm not doing either. Now, with the virus situation and with people working at home and kids working from, home for school and all that kind of stuff. So I guess there's been a lot of talk about, I guess it's my Coke cans, my new Coca-Cola. They're sweating here. So I really haven't been I'm going to say this. I'm really not interested in chat or anything like that because I have a long history of being online and doing things before there was. I've mentioned this a few times. I'm sure you've heard it. I was online before Amazon, before YouTube, before, all this kind of. And so far as chat's concerned, now, like I said, with the virus and people having to work at home and young people doing school, okay, that's fine. But, I was back when it was IRC, which still exists, of course, and I was working at a small hospital, and a very small hospital. I took, well, every place I worked, just about, I brought in, equipment and donated it to, like one hospital, large hospital, well, the same hospital that I worked for, but I was, the big hospital, and I went to work there, and they had a couple patrol cars and a Cushman scooter, or a thing that looked like used to be a mail Jeep, or not a Jeep, but and they were in this hospital. That hospital was the first hospital I started working at in 1972. That was in the worst part of Kansas City, Missouri. The bad neighborhood. And then when I quit working there, I went to another hospital. I worked there 5.5 years, and it was just a few blocks over, but it was not as bad as, And then a few years later, I ended up working at another hospital, and that was the worst part. By then, that thing, the crime and the like when I started out at working hospital security, the bad guys, they had revolvers. By the time I ended up at this other hospital, they had assault rifles and all types of, they would bring somebody. Sometimes they would drive up to the emergency, thing and just push somebody out. Sometimes they would drive up and the person would be in the vehicle all shot up, and there'd be a Mac 10 or something, I don't know, laying in the vehicle. It progressed so far. But then I ended up going to a smaller hospital for the same company. And now I'm getting to where so, well, anyway, at the hospital before that, I went to work there, and they didn't have bad neighborhood, and they didn't have any. We didn't have any scanner in the our patrol vehicle, so we didn't know what was going on, around us. So I donated one. One of the security, of course, he had to get permission, to put it in. But he installed it, and I think I think he donated one, or maybe he got the hospital to put one in the other vehicle. So then I ended up eventually, I think that's the only things I donated there, really. Okay, at a hospital before that, I had a large collection of Thomas Publishing, and it was law enforcement training books that were being used in college and places like that, patrol techniques, all that kind of stuff. I bought them, individually over time, and read them and studied them, and then I just had them at home. And so I took like 2 shelves full there, and told the guys, hey, these are available for you guys to read and everything. Just please, if you take one home, bring it back. I don't think anybody brought it back. I'm sure some probably did, but by the time I left there, it was down to like a half of it. Instead of 2 shelves, it was down to half a shelf. I don't know why people do that. At one hospital I went to work at, that was back, I had recorded favorite movies, and I think they were on beta, and I think I started another collection because well, back a long time ago when I was like a teenager, my dad bought for me we went to get a audio recorder, and we went there, and the guy at Sears, I forget if it was Sears or Montgomery Ward, can't remember. He said, well, you're lucky. I've just got one wire recorder left. That's the thing to have. Because tape, we ended up buying a wire recorder, and it was probably the last one. People haven't even heard of wire recorders, I don't think. But anyway, I got sidetracked talking about, anyway, I worked at this smaller hospital, and everybody was like a family that was so small. I worked there altogether 9 years. And it was, I could almost throw a rock from the hospital and hit where I lived. I loved that. But several times I loaned tapes to somebody. Well, hey, I don't think I ever hardly got those back. Then there was one real nice ICU nurse, and we were talking about movies and things, and I told her that I had, she said, wow. And I said, yeah, those are all my favorite movies. I said, I watch them from time to time. I said, if, I'll bring some of them in for you, So I brought a whole bunch of them in, and I said, here, when you get done watching them, bring them back. About a week or 2 later, she quit. I never saw those tapes. Whenever I borrow something from somebody, and that's the way I've always been. If I get it, I want to get it back to them as quick as I can. A lot of people are not that way. Anyway, at this hospital I worked at 9 years, I brought in a extra computer, and for the security office, and it was just 2 of us, myself and another guy, who were not at the same time. Total of, they didn't have any security during the daytime. I'd said in the past that I was never going to work in some place that didn't have security around the clock, because that sucks. I could tell you some stories about how it sucks, but I'm talking too much now. I should switch this when I'm doing this. Anyway, so I brought in one of the office refrigerators, and for the security office, and there were like just two of us. By the way, the other guy, the other security officer, he was not too swift. I don't know why. I mean, he used to be, I think he was a reserve police officer for, I think, the Grandview Police Department, but he wasn't too swift. But anyway, I brought in this, and I was going to say, yeah, but I'm saying that, and he had some money. He actually made some money. He lucked out how he did it, and it was kind of, but he had some, but he never donated anything. He never brought anything in, said, hey, whatever. In fact, even working with a very few people there at night, nurses, the doctor, he would go and with a bag to get microwave a bag of popcorn, and he'd go way around. He wouldn't do it right there in the ER, little break room. He'd take it down, where there was nobody there, and he would. I never worked with him at the same time, but the nurses told me he would. They could hear and smell the popcorn and he would come down and hold it beside his, as he walked by, and then he wouldn't share it. I bought a lot of food for everybody. I brought in like a large jar of hot pickles. When that was empty, I wouldn't immediately bring it over. I'd wait a little bit, but bring all that kind of stuff. I brought in my computer, hooked it up, and told the other security officer. And occasionally we'd have somebody come out and relieve us. And I think all they did was play solitaire on it. But then I purchased an antenna. Outside antenna. Of course, I told the plant operations, and they probably knew, I told them, and that was for our scanner. Oh, I brought a scanner in, of course, and all these things I left. When I retired, or whatever, I left all that. I left the refrigerator there. I left the computer, everything. But anyway, why did I get on this subject? Oh, so I had my computer there, and a few times other, a nurse or something would come over to the security office, and I think maybe they played a game of solitaire on the thing or something sometime. But then the hospital got the ER doctor a laptop computer so that he could do some stuff. I mean, it was for all the, because the ER doctor had a little bedroom office area. And so, but anyway, when he got that, then the nurses were over there like, doctor, can we use your laptop? And he'd say, sure, So they were logging into chat rooms and things like, they were started logging into chat rooms. And so when they did, they were, the first, I think it was like the first day or whatever, they were doing that. And then I'm getting ready to go home, going through and, oh, Jim, is that, we're in the chat room. And I said, don't go to those chat rooms. Stay out of those chat rooms. They are terrible. They're horrible. Don't go there. Oh, ha, 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 ha. So, is that you? I said, I'm not in a chat room. I don't go to chat rooms. I said, I used to be in chat rooms in the past, in the beginning, big time, and for years and years, I don't go there. There's nobody that I want to chat with, and you shouldn't go there. And they said, so I bet that's you. There's a guy that says he's a lawyer. Is that you? Is that you? And I said, no, I don't go there. And they said, oh, yes, you do. And I said, no, I don't. Next day or whatever, oh, we were in the chat room, and were you in the chat room? No, I don't go to the chat. I don't go to the chat room. Anyway, they were really nice nurses, and I met some of their husbands. Two of those nurses at that small hospital met somebody in a chat room and left their husbands. and there was a, anyway, there was more, well, of course, at the main hospital, I ran into, there was a guy there, occasionally I had to go down there, and there was a guy who was, born again Christian, and God bless him, but, we switched every 2 hours down there, so, I might be going and relieving him, or he might be relieving me, and I'd go to the next post, he'd go to, whatever, and when we'd make the switch, it'd be like, oh, okay, well, here's the, everything's okay, and the car's got gassed up, and whatever the thing was. And it was like, he would say, Jesus is good, he made a beautiful day today, and I thought, come on, why, I didn't say anything. But the only thing he talked about was religion. And I didn't talk very much about religion. That's the only thing he could talk about. But then one day, we were making this switch or whatever, and I said, what's wrong? And he said, oh, yeah. Then he told me, he said his wife was using the computer a lot. I didn't know that he had a computer, using the computer a lot. And he became suspicious, and then he did some searching, and his wife was, talking sex talk or whatever with this guy someplace else, and he brought it up to her, that's not a Christian way to, do, and I can't believe, whatever. And she left him. So, but anyway, so I know this, I think this is, I got a notice of, I guess I'm going to check it out right here in front of you. I think, and unless my user ID or something pops up or password or something. So they just installed this into Teams, I guess it's called, and I guess it's for work and school and stuff like that. Let me minimize this. So there we have it. Okay, this is the account I'm going to use. Enter the password. So I guess this is a Microsoft password, or is this a Google password? This must be the Microsoft pen, it's really a pain in the butt. The things you have to jump through, let's see. New Microsoft password, okay. Oh, add the phone number. God, Christ. Why don't it just, I put the entered the password, okay. Once okay. They're gonna send me a fucking text message. God damn it. Oh, Christ. Fuck. Okay. At least this one appears to be a 4-digit number instead of, I can't remember anything bigger than a. Okay, let's. Well, I'm glad I didn't switch back because it shows welcome to Teams, my name, my email address, and then next to that it gets the phone number that I just entered. Okay, sync my Skype account and Outlook out. Okay, I fucking hate. I have not used Skype in years. I fucking hate it. Okay. Okay. Well, luckily I didn't switch that over because now it shows for the chat down one side, it shows my contact list, my cable number, my ex-wife's email address. She doesn't have a cell phone. My doctor's office number, my guy that I went to high school with in 1959. We graduated. Get chatting. Get in touch with your family and friends. Okay, I'm going to start a group. Okay, I'm going to hit start. I can't show it to you, but right, let's see what happens when I do this. You're starting a new conversation. Okay, now to hell with this. I want no part of this. So, well, wait a minute, I got to make sure. I better go back over to here to make sure, because I've got these browsers down here. Are they okay? That's okay. That's just Twit and my email box. Let's see what Chrome is. Well, Chrome is email and a couple start pages, but okay, I'm going to put my YouTube page there. Okay, I think now it's safe to.
Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. I want to
Okay, here we are now. So, if I were you, I'd forget about team. I mean, unless you're, maybe you are, maybe it's something you have to use at work. Maybe you're computer programmers or something, and you all work on the project or something. Maybe but I want nothing to do with chat rooms. Want nothing to do with. So, by the way, YouTube has made a few improvements to the ability of people who have a YouTube channel to do things. And one of the changes they made, they give you the opportunity to make a change to your home page. Now, a lot of you people don't find somebody by, you just log into, YouTube, and you get cat videos and, whatever they think you're going to like, you get those things thrown at you. And now I'm sure there's some of you who bookmark probably the home page or whatever. But anyway, they changed the home page thing. Well, in fact, the program that we use, my YouTube Studio or whatever that is, it tells you what percentage of people find you, which all kinds of stuff, the age group, and a tremendous amount of information that you can could help you in deciding who you're going to aim your material for and all that type of stuff. and I forget, but it's a very small number of you actually go to the home page. Maybe you bookmarked it or something and you do go there. But they allowed changes to be made, and you're probably not going to notice a difference, but there is a difference because I had the ability then to go in and so it's set up a little bit different. Here are, for this first row, I have all the new videos that so right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are showing, but you can go over here and you can click and you can just keep, so they're in chronological order. And oops,
That was from.
I didn't mean to go to one of them I clicked on. Okay. Then for the next row, you could put any of your playlists here. I have my Howard's Notebook playlist is the second row, and that's the same, the same thing. And then the third row is my most popular videos. Kind of interesting. The first two are extremely short. This one is just a couple minutes, I think. That clicking beetle. And then here's how to use a pill cutter. And this one really is an old, video, how to hook up 2 computers to 1 monitor. And so forth and so on. And then the last one here is you can decide which you want in there. And I'm really disappointed that more people haven't, watched these. This was my vacation for 2 weeks to Washington, D.C. And my daughter, LaDonna, used her Apple iPhone to record the images and the video. And then she used it to add music, using, I think, whatever the iPhone thing is, iCamera, whatever. And she just did that easily. You remember a few months back, I purchased a iPad, and I had made my mind I was going to make the switch. Not totally, of course. I probably couldn't do that, but I was gonna. And I really was so frustrated. One, I really didn't. I have arthritis really bad in my neck, my shoulders, everywhere. And trying to do things, it hurt immediately because I don't generally do that. But I was still going to make a go of it, and then I had to log in and get an Apple ID, email address, and so I tried to do that, and it wouldn't give me one. I forget. I made a video about it. Probably it's here someplace. I was so angry. I almost threw that iPad, smashed it on a wall, but I didn't do that because I ended up, thank goodness, because I ended up sending it back, getting a full refund. Because in order to do anything, you had to have your Apple ID. And it would not let, I forget now what the deal was. It would not let me input it. It would not recognize it. It would not. I did everything. I spent a couple hours sitting there with the arthritis killing me, trying to get that to work. Then I did a search, not using it because I couldn't use it really, but using a real computer or a real cell phone. And for years, there were people who had been having trouble for years, and there wasn't any fix. You know, I mean, people left a thing, oh, try this, or do this, or go and delete all of this and do that, you know. And now maybe those people who, maybe that fixed, but there were still current people like, I'm so frustrated, I can't get, it won't give me, you know, my, and it gives, and of course it was giving them the same errors that I was, you know, that I was getting, and so I just sent it back. So, now let's get off that subject. I actually, today for the first time in years, I've been having to, I don't want to go into my bladder and prostate and all that kind of stuff. You've heard too much about that. But I take a water pill. It says take one a day. I've taken, you know, one in the morning and one at night before, and sometimes I forget to actually take it. But for the last, now not today, maybe yesterday, but for the last week or so, I couldn't go anywhere or do anything because I was going to the bathroom, having to urinate all the time, you know. Actually sitting here, I guess the bladder's being pressed on or something. But when I get up, first thing I got to do is, you know, go urinate or try to urinate. So the water pills are very small. And so, you know, it says take one a day. And like I said, I've taken two, and you know, two in the morning and one at night, and done all of the, try to figure out. But let's see, which camera are you on? No, you're not on that. Well, you are on that one, but oh, wait a minute. Let's see. There you go. Can you see how small this, you know? And it actually has a little line on there where you can show you where to cut it. And I haven't used this, well, since that years ago. And this thing goes right, you know, right in there, and it cut it. It didn't shatter or break. So, and that's what I took this morning, a half of this. Half of one instead of a whole one. So I'll try that for a little while. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, I hooked up my Chrome box. It's back here. So I have, you know, my B-Link little computer running Windows 11. I have two monitors here. And and back there is the Chrome box. I hooked it up again because they said something about an upgrade was made to it, and be sure and get the upgrade. And so I'm not sure how long I'll leave it hooked up because I don't see all that, you know. You can tell by the shadow that I'm using my LED light on a tripod. And man, that thing gets hot. Not, you know, I mean, physically hot when you touch it, not hot over here or up, you know, even close to it. But those LEDs are in there. I see a little bit of vents on the side, but that thing may need a fan. Well, let's go to CNN. I do that. Hope it doesn't get me talking about politics. Please get your, vaccine shots. They have that new, what do you call it, divergent or mutation or whatever that is out. And apparently the people who have, like myself and my family, who have had the two shots, if you do happen to get that new variant, you'll just be, of course there's always exception, you'll just be mildly sick from it. But, so the hospitals right now are filling up here, especially in like Missouri and in Florida, and I'm in Texas, I think in Texas too. All the Republican states. Uh, uh, the variant, if you don't have if you haven't had the vaccine for the uh, virus, and then you get that, you might as well, your family might as well, apparently, be looking at, what type of funeral arrangements that you want. It if you don't have if you have the if you've been vaccinated, it makes it not as bad if you get the variant, because I guess you've got some immunity. It's created something in you. And I saw a story the other day, which certain people who will remain nameless are going to say is fake news. There was a story on front page of CNN saying that hospital people are there's people who have this new variant, and they've got it, and it's bad, and your chances of survival are very small. And the people who are going to the hospital are saying, "Give me the vaccine," and they can't do that. It won't work, once you've got the virus. And the people are crying, saying, "Give me the vaccine." And this story on CNN looks like I am in a political area. It shouldn't be. It should not be political. It's extremely difficult to watch so many people die and then have people tell you on Facebook or in Walmart that you're a liar. One Arkansas nurse said. The story underneath that is, which I haven't read, it says nurse, and says people told me I was a liar. The story underneath that, the headline, I guess, is the rise in the U.S. COVID-19 hospitalizations is a self-inflicted wound, experts say. And then, I'm not going to read it, Governor DeSantis, the governor of Florida, says he blames his blame, the reason that his cases are down, or booming down there with, he's blaming, I don't know. Oh, the next story, I guess, is hospitalization COVID patients are asking for the vaccine when it's too late. Next story is the Delta variant has even conservatives talking up the vaccine, but reluctance remains. Story up here, Georgia family mourns most loving, joyous 5-year-old boy who died from COVID-19. A sleepaway camp in New York says 31 campers under age 12 have tested positive for the COVID. And here's a story from, Fox News. It's from CNN, but Tucker Carlson insults Capitol Police officer. Uh, New York Jets assistant coach died following a bicycle accident. Thieves in California are stealing scarce water amid extreme drought, devastating some communities. Okay, I gotta. What are they are they coming with tankers and filling it up, or what are they? Wow. As an extreme drought grips California, making water increasingly scarce, thieves are making off with billions of gallons of the precious resource, tapping into fire hydrants, rivers, and even small family homes and farms. Wow. Sounds like the toilet paper thing where everybody was trying to get their hands on toilet paper. An Afghan interpreter for the U.S. Army was beheaded by the Taliban. Others fear they will be hunted down too. We need to, all the people who are working for the U.S. Armed Forces in, Afghanistan or whatever, if those people want out, them and their families, we need to pull everything. We need to do everything we can to get them and their families out as fast as possible. And they worked for us. They assisted us. Undoubtedly, probably saved lives of military. We need to do whatever is necessary to get those people out. Yeah, I know you're going to have to scan, but don't put them in a concentration camp or a thing like during World War II for the jet. But if you have to, if you can't pull them out immediately because of background checks, pull them out and put them someplace, not Gitmo, put them someplace, get them out. The FAA changes policy on who qualifies for commercial astronaut wings on same day as Blue Origin space. Okay, yeah, I heard him talking about that and I didn't. Just because somebody rides up for 20 minutes on they don't even fly it. Even though what do you have to do to?
When you were all sitting there together before you entered the capsule, what?
Even though Jeff Bezos crossed into space on Tuesday, he still may not get his official astronaut wings from the federal government. On the same day as Blue Origin's first human spaceflight, the Federal Aviation Administration announced a change to its commercial astronaut wing program for the first time in 17 years. This shift at the dawn of the space tourism era means that the U.S. government may not formally recognize that billionaire Jeff Bezos and Sir Richard Branson became astronauts when they blasted into space earlier this month. Before the FAA issued the new restrictions, Bezos, along with his 3 other crew members who flew the Blue Origin founder, would have qualified to receive FAA commercial astronaut wings. That's because the travelers flew to an altitude of at least 50 miles, that's 80.5 kilometers, and the U.S. recognizes that as the boundary of space. That was until a few days ago. Effectively July 20th, the FAA issued one more critical criterion. Commercial launch crew members must also demonstrate activities during the flight that were essential to public safety or contributed to human spaceflight safety. the FAA spokesman said. Yeah, I mean, I can see. I mean, if I were one of those people and you know, they go on to talk about this, you know. I mean, starting when I was in high school, I was in the Ground Observer Corps. U.S. Air Force thing had set it up, you know, and we watched, and we got, you know, Ground Observer Corps wing thing. And then underneath it, you know, we could hang how many hours we had donated, you know, given or whatever. That didn't give us any special prestige or any thing, but I could see here why, you know, you could just being shot up there and having no control over the craft or, you know, anything, and just going up. I mean, I don't think they deserve astronaut wings. I think astronaut wings, and I guess they're going to decide, you know, NASA, whoever's going to decide what are they, because, you know, when you pay, what, how much of that 18-year-old, how much did his father pay? I mean, that's great. I mean, for him, I mean, that's great. But he's, what, 18 years old, and is he going to be walking around and telling all the girls he's an astronaut, you know, and he has astronaut wings? I just, yeah, so they need to change it. And life is compensate, you know. My daughter, in fact, there's video here on here of my daughter flying her drone. She has numerous ones, and I made some video of her out there flying it around. And because of the drone has certain capabilities, she apparently had to apply and get a pilot's license for, you know, for a drone. I forget the exact details. I saw it or whatever, you know. So, yeah. Now, she doesn't go around saying she's a pilot. And, let's see, where was I here? Problems at a Chinese nuclear power plant are serious enough to warrant shutdown, French co-owners warn. I saw something about this a while back. They're dealing with a problem, and it's, you know. Anyway, wait a minute, what's this here? Schizophrenia linked to marijuana use disorder is on the rise. Well, bummer. I've never ever used any illegal drug. I've never smoked marijuana. I've never done any. But if I'm in the state of Texas, if the state of Texas would pass a thing, I would try it to see if it helped my, you know, pains that I have and stuff like that. I would give it a try if it were legal, you know, but I'm not gonna. I mean, I kind of like the thing that I can, you know, I can say honestly, I've never done any, you know, and I've taken marijuana off of, you know, somebody. I never arrested anybody for marijuana. I took their marijuana and dumped it out. Stuff like that. But I never found, you know, I found marijuana, like going through the parking lot and there's a bag of marijuana. Somebody probably who worked at the hospital fell out of their pocket, you know, whatever. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.